Welcome to day 7 of our guided tour of the Amalfi coast. Today, we're heading away from the mountains to visit two locations we've really been looking forward to exploring with you: the Roman city of Pompeii and the Roman town of Herculaneum.
Both places were almost completely buried and therefore preserved in ash during the tragic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. The volcano is still active today and is quietly looming over modern-day Naples.
In Pompeii, archaeologists are still excavating entire neighbourhoods buried for almost 2,000 years, meaning there's still so much to be discovered. But enough talking, let's go explore them.
Welcome to Pompeii. Already on your left hand side you can see the archaeological site, but we're going to enter through a very beautiful gate of Pompeii where there's no groups usually, so that's why I always start from the other side, so we have less people around. It's a little bit more authentic, more off the cruise ship track. And so we're going to start from the amphitheater over here. A few logistic information, okay? You can bring what you need here in Pompeii, so bring your sandwich. Did you bring one? Yeah. Okay, good. So bring your lunch, some water, maybe sunscreen today, and a hat. If there's something you don't need, you want to leave it on the bus, you can, because our driver Pasquale will be on the bus the whole time, and we're going to use the same bus today for the whole day.
We've just had our tripod confiscated off us.
And given a ticket.
Yeah, so we'll collect it back when we come back, but our tour guide's just seeing if we can actually take it now.
Yeah.
Because it is a bit silly, but
I've never had that. It only cost us like £6 on Amazon, so well, we'll get it back later.
we did, yeah.
Built about 70 BC, This Roman amphitheatre is one of the oldest surviving of its kind, and was a precursor to the iconic Colosseum in Rome.
It could hold up to 20,000 spectators, which allowed plenty of seating for not only the residents of Pompeii, but for the many visitors who travelled to the city.
It mainly hosted wild animal hunts and, of course, the iconic gladiatorial games.
Being fully buried in ash during the eruption, the amphitheatre is now one of the grandest snapshots we have of ancient Roman entertainment.
So we're here in the main square now.
Amazing!
It is phenomenal. Oh my gosh! Like, we've just broken off from the group. We've got an hour of spare time where we could choose to eat in the garden or to wander around. We were going to have lunch, but then we just thought there's so much to explore. The city is huge. They've uncovered so much of it, and there's like, I don't know. It's just blown my mind.
You can't actually believe how big it actually is. It's huge.
Absolutely huge. And over my shoulder there's Vesuvius. When it erupted, the debris went up 20 miles high.
And it could have been, they also speculate that the actual volcano could have been double the size it actually is now.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling.
And what goes up must come back down. And before it came down, it covered this area in 10 to 15 meters of ash. Once that all plummeted back down, what are you going to get? Shockwave. Where else is that energy going to go? It is going to fly out from the volcano, and it wiped across everywhere. The radius was huge, and it was like an atomic explosion. People ran into their homes trying to hide from the devastation. By the time they realised that they needed to get out, I mean, you couldn't escape that. There was no way of escaping it, but they thought, oh, I need to get out of my home, and they couldn't, because when they tried to push the doors open, there was ash everywhere, at least a metre high. By the time they thought we need to flee this, they couldn't get out, so people ended up dying in their homes. But a majority of the city, because there's not actually many bodies here, they all died in the ocean because the ash just flew over, and also because of the eruption it caused earthquakes. Earthquakes and oceans don't mix, it creates a tsunami, so they were all getting wiped out at the ocean. They said maybe they could have survived if they went north, but the ash cloud was going over south. There was just no way of escaping it. I mean, it's awful for those people, but it's left such an amazing city here. Like, the preservation is phenomenal, and this is Pompeii. Herculaneum's even better apparently, so I am so psyched to go there. Right, we're gonna have a wander around, get some B-roll.
The main streets of Pompeii have deep ruts worn into the stone pavements by the constant passage of chariots and carts over the centuries.
Up to 6 inches deep in places, these wheel ruts provide tangible evidence of the city's bustling traffic and heavy use of wheeled vehicles in daily Roman life.
So this building behind us is a old Roman bakery. So these 3 stumps here were used for milling the bread, while you got the fire oven way in the back.
Yeah, it's very similar to a pizza oven, isn't it?
It does. Makes me want pizza. Good thing we're in Italy.
This is where slave gladiators trained and also lived in Pompeii. The central training arena was used to hone the gladiators' fighting skills, preparing them for the demanding combat inside the amphitheatre. Gladiators lived in terribly cramped cells directly next to the arena.
"250 to 300 people in Herculaneum were awaiting rescue inside the boathouses, which, back then, would have been on the sea's edge."
One of several pyroclastic surges from Mount Vesuvius rushed through the streets of Herculaneum, mercifully killing these people in an instant.
Herculaneum was preserved even better than Pompeii. Here you will find Roman fast food restaurants with serving counters still intact. Even the massive terracotta pots built into these counters for customers to collect food from still remain.
You'll see that the main streets still have open-air water draining systems exposed.
Some building foundations that were burnt from volcanic heat are still in place.
And amazingly preserved mosaic floors can be discovered everywhere. We have returned now, and we're making our way up to the Agriturismo. That was amazing.
It was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had, like in terms of history and archaeology.
Yeah, just geology.
Just everything. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
There's too much to process at the time.
I know, it's just like, I almost can't believe that we actually were there. It's so surreal. Like, you learn about it at school and read about it, and then suddenly we were there, and then we're already back here. But I was a little bit disappointed in a way, because I wish we had more time. It felt like you needed a whole day just for Pompeii, and Herculaneum was fantastic. It's a lot smaller. It's a shame because a lot of the city is still on top of the city, or city of Naples, but they still have like petrified wooden beams there and fantastic mosaic, and it really shows like the life of the wealthy people in the area.
It's quite an upper crust town. Well, was it a town or city?
I think it would have been classed as a city.
But very upper class.
Something that surprised me, a fact from Herculaneum, was after the eruption, the seashore moved a mile back because of all the sediment that landed. Oh. Hello, baby. Do a little patty dance. I wish I could stroke you. That dog is gorgeous. Herculaneum used to have the seafront right next to it, and as you enter, you see all of these skeletons waiting to be picked up. They weren't picked up, and the superheated ash just basically cooked these people alive, and all that's left of them are these skeletons just piled on top of each other. It's horrifying. It's awful for those people, what they must have gone through. But that was over 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And in some ways it's thanks to what happened that we were able to gain so much knowledge about what life was like back then.
Dinner tonight was at a nearby restaurant and bed and breakfast, Leonardo's. While the presentation was nice, we found that the pizzas we ordered were far too salty, one being almost inedible. It was a shame, but the dessert and beer was nice.
We decided to head home early, as tomorrow was our last day on the Amalfi coast, and likely to be a big one.
With tomorrow being the last full day in Amalfi, we were heading out to do not only one of the best walks in the Amalfi coast, but also in the whole of Italy, the Path of the Gods. We hope to see you there.